for CityNet this morning? Thank you, Jeff.
Yes. Yes, I will be.
Awesome. So will you need access to screen sharing at all? Would you like me to make you a co-host?
No, I just got some, like I said, just some of the
Notes.
information. Yeah, some notes that I got from Emily.
Wonderful.
And that we put together.
Well, awesome. Thank you all for joining us just a few days before the holidays begin for some of you. We are so grateful for your time and investment. So as we get started, yes, thank you, Jeff, for that note. If you have questions, comments, concerns, Jeff will be paying attention to the chat. This is our Upper State Regional Action Plan meeting. It's the 23rd of December. You have Jeff and I today, no Barbara, as she's already left for the East Coast, but we'll be with you to kind of walk through this agenda, answer any questions, and we are available by email. We'll put our emails in the chat. You can email Jeff or I with any ongoing concerns. And then we'll be back together in the new year on Thursday, January 6th, if you can believe it. But as we get started, this is our fourth week of the month. Yes, fourth week of the month. So it's our data and presentations week. So we'll have some presentations from Chris Clark, code enforcement, on some of ongoing encampment concerns and encampment responses with some data. And we'll also have a report from CityNet from Al. But before we do begin with those data reports, I want to brief us quickly about the site visit that we did last week. It was wonderful to be in the neighborhood with some of you folks. We were joined by Karen and Vicky and Bob as residents, as well as Eric Friedman, Kristen Sneddon, Charlie Katsapis, Lieutenant Charlie Katsapis from the police, as well as Sergeant Dijon. So it was this, as well as a couple folks from CityNet. So it was this kind of rich and multi-sector group just walking the region of Hope, Florida, State Street, and Hitchcock. We walked it in the rain together. We also had the opportunity to visit the Rose Garden Inn together. So again, just a really, I think, rich picture of the neighborhood and what some of you folks see every day. We were able to experience alongside, as well as hear from some of the service providers who are at the Rose Garden Inn about kind of what it looks like on a day-to-day basis. So just a couple notes that I wanted to highlight. I know that Barbara had sent a detailed report from our site visit, but wanted to go over a couple of those points with all of you here today. We started our walk at Gardens of Hope and walked up Hope before turning onto State Street together. And as we were walking up Hope, as well as on Hitchcock, we noticed 12 vehicles. Obviously, it can shift and change each day. With that snapshot in time, we noticed 12 vehicles that have people living in them, some of which we are told and know have been there for weeks on end because Hope does not have any street cleaning. So people are able to just sit and stay. So I think that is one kind of ongoing conversation that we're having and that we need to have is, what does it look like to maybe see some street cleaning in those regions? And also we want to be able to do some outreach. So I know we are doing some work with safe parking to be able to do outreach to those individuals living in vehicles. I know that safe parking does have limited capacity, so I do want us to be able to be a little bit realistic with over time. It'll take a little bit for safe parking to be able to have that outreach capacity to meet with each of the people living in those vehicles and offer them services to be able to park elsewhere. That isn't Hope, that isn't Hitchcock. But we were able to connect, Barbara and I, on our walk back, we're able to connect with a woman living in her vehicle to offer her services. And she and I will be connecting with Safe Parking after the holidays to talk about a potential client relationship. So those conversations, like I said, are ongoing. And we do want to be working with Safe Parking more closely to do outreach to those vehicles to be able to do that. And I was going to chat a little bit. I was going to ask Council Member Friedman or Sneddon, but they're not on the call today. So we will follow up with them a little bit more about both anything that can be done about street cleaning on Hope as well as Councilmember Friedman had mentioned that he'd be willing to talk with the La Cumbre property management, because as we were walking, we noticed several spots on that La Cumbre Plaza property that do end up with trash kind of thrown over the sides, or some tires and other random miscellaneous belongings that end up in the bushes. And so I know that that conversation we'll be able to circle back to in the new year in our January 6th meeting, to see what progress has been made with a conversation about the constant monitoring of that La Cumbre property, because I know that it can be both. There can be cause for concern with vehicles parking in that parking lot, especially at night. If there can be some ongoing monitoring, as well as, again, safe parking outreach. So those are some of the things that we saw in the neighborhood. And also, one of the last things that I'll pull from that summary that Barbara sent out is that there's a small alleyway behind Gardens of Hope, I believe. I'm not too familiar with all the apartment complexes over in that region, that often has individuals coming in and sleeping there or other things. And we talked a little bit about what it would look like. This is more of some low hanging fruit to be able to have some natural barriers, whether that be bushes or some sort of hedge, to be able to kind of stop people from entering that space. So those are just a couple both ongoing things that need to keep occurring. There needs to be more safe parking outreach. There needs to be more outreach capacity overall to these regions, but some helpful relationships that can be built between property management to be able to monitor their own property, keep their own property clean more regularly. And then another cool part of our site visit was the ability to stop by the Rose Garden Inn, to walk the alleyway behind the Rose Garden Inn and to see its maintenance. And because of the constant monitoring, and Al, I'm sure you'll be able to speak to some of this as well in your presentation. So I don't want to step on your toes. I don't want to take any words out of your mouth. But as we walked that alleyway behind the Rose Garden Inn, we only noticed a little bit of recent trash, just a jacket or a cart that had been thrown, but everything else looked immaculate, and hedges had been cut back and it looked clean. And I know that it's constantly monitored. So I do want to highlight that as a small and ongoing success. I know that these areas are constantly being monitored, and it's an ongoing situation, right? But to highlight what we did see on that site visit was a highly cleaned and highly monitored area. Because I know, again, it has been an area of concern. So we want to keep it on the forefront. We don't want to forget it. It's not a one-time celebration of cleanliness or monitoring and then done. It's an area that is constantly being paid attention to. And then we also had the opportunity to see and hear a little bit more about the programming at the Rose Garden Inn, and hear from Emily. And I was hoping she'd be able to be here to share a little bit about that experience, but I know it was helpful for me to get to hear from her and to see it in its fullness and full operations. Seeing individuals cared for. Again, Al, you'll be able to speak to this too, so I don't want to say too much, but it was, I think, a refreshing experience. And that's where we closed. And then Barbara and I were able to do some outreach to some of the vehicles on Hope. So those are just some highlights. Again, if you aren't already a part of that email distribution list and didn't receive that site visit report, please do reach out to me and I'll be able to send it to you. And like I said, we'll be doing those site visits every single month. It'll be the third week of the month, every month. So this won't be the last time that we're in the neighborhood together, walking, observing impacts, observing progress. We'll be out again in January, and we'll be prioritizing different regions for visits. So before we get to our data reporting, I also do want to lift, I know that Sergeant DeJean can't be with us today, but did want to lift the Denny's on State Street as a priority, a high priority region. And we know from law enforcement that that region is becoming a higher priority, and is also a high priority to residents. You may be noticing ongoing impacts or ongoing issues in that area. So in the new year, We want to be able to talk a little bit more about ongoing strategies for that region, but did want to lift that to the surface because we know it's an area of high impact to all of you, as well as an area of concern for law enforcement. And also the encampment behind the Big Five. I don't know if Chris, if you'll be able to speak to this encampment at all. I know it's under the county's encampment response task force. Is there anything that you can say to that? Or we can also pull in Lucille Boss from the county encampment response task force to be able to speak a little bit more to the impacts and ongoing responses to that Big Five region.
Yeah, thanks, Kayla.
Yeah.
So the encampment over there is, it's on Caltrans property. So they're also aware of it and it's on their list. I'm not sure where it is on their priority list, but they are aware of it. And it's kind of just in a little bit of a limbo between the county and Caltrans on where that's going to be on their priority list. Caltrans just did removed several of their high priority encampments throughout the city. But that's something that I can find out more about and circle back with everyone.
That would be great. Thank you, Chris. To be able to make those connections between Caltrans and county and all of the different agencies that need to be able to work together to prioritize a high impact area. We know most recently from law enforcement that that Big Five encampment has 2 inhabitants, but just with a lot of stuff, but can be drawing more individuals at a time. But right now what we know is that it's inhabited by 2 individuals. And we know that CityNet has limited outreach capacity to be able to reach out to those individuals. So we are sort of working with this encampment, with this county encampment response task force to be the lead on prioritizing that region. But I'll see if we can pull in Lucille to be able to talk a little bit about how the county maybe prioritizes alongside Caltrans for encampment clearouts and the like. So now I do want to hand it over to Chris. I've talked enough, and I'll let him take over with presenting on some of that encampment data.
Okay, can everybody see my presentation screen here?
Yes, we can. Thank you.
Great. All right, so real quick, we'll go through and talk about our encampment response program here. Real briefly, just to kind of go over things. We have our online reporting tool and a system to manage and collect data from the reports that come in and the actions that we take in response to those things. I think we can go through most of this. We utilize Salesforce to manage this currently. We are working on some new programs that might help to provide more feedback to the public and to groups like this, and help improve our workflow a little bit. But I'll dive right into the data from this last quarter. We've had a total of 311 reports, and this includes reports of inhabited encampments, individuals in need, and uninhabited encampments, and a few other items like litter and abandoned items, legal dumping, kind of things. The majority of the things coming in are inhabited encampment reports. And so this is kind of throughout all the RAP districts in the city currently. But then, and you can see we have completed and closed out about half of them from the quarter. We have several that are still in progress, and that means that there's actions being taken on those, whether it's a cleanup or outreach, something like that. The new ones and the pending info ones are ones that we're still looking into, trying to gather more information about and decide what's the best thing to do. For Upper State Street, this is a snapshot of the reports that have come in for that area. We've had a total of 19 reports from the public, 12 inhabited encampments, 6 individuals in need, 1 uninhabited encampment. We've closed out 4 of those, 8 are in progress, which means we've taken action on them. And we actually just got a whole bunch of new ones that came in the other day, but we're still processing a little bit on. But still not getting a lot of reports coming in. So I want to encourage everybody, if you see something, please submit it to the city through our online reporting tool, which I'll throw a link to that in the chat here in a minute. But other than that, that's what we've got for today. I'm
Thanks
happy to
for,
take any questions.
yeah, I was just going to say, direct any questions at you.
I don't see any questions in the chat either. So
Okay.
Yeah, thank you, Chris, for pulling together that data. And I would reiterate to what you just shared, that as you see, if you see encampments, if you see trash, if you see something, whether it's inhabited or uninhabited, or if you see an individual needing service or care, please do use those links. Chris, if you can throw those links in the chat as well. I know they're in our agenda in order to be able to report encampments, but please do use those so that this data, one, can be accurate, reflective of what you see in your neighborhood, and also receive timely and efficient responses for caring for individuals in need, as well as responding to issues of encampments in your region. So if there aren't any questions for Chris or any encampment related questions, I do want to pass it on to Al from CityNet to share a little bit about the outreach and bridge housing program at the Rose Garden Inn, and other, of course, outreach and bridge housing programs that CityNet is running citywide. So here, Al, if you are ready to go for it.
All right. Well, good morning, everyone. Yeah, so as far as I'm glad to hear you guys were able to get out there. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to make it because of one of the projects that we were closing up at the Orange Tree Inn last week, which overall was pretty successful. We had, a lot of doors open up. Right now we have, as far as this week, we had within the past week, and we have 2 more, we've had going on 9 clients that have been housed. So that's amazing. We have 2 more that are being housed on the 31st, 1 being housed today. So it's been pretty amazing, just the doors open and being able to take advantage of the opportunities that were given to us, that we were able to work with, being able to give some supportive and temporary shelter to clients at the Orange Tree. As far as the Rose Garden, as many of you know, on the 31st of January is when we'll be shutting down the Rose Garden Inn, as far as having all of our clients in master leasing the entire property. As of now, we currently have staying there at the property. We have 39 clients right now. We have housed 2 so far. We have 29 currently document ready, which is just amazing. That alone just shows the type of work and what a project like this is meant to do. Coming from clients that were on the street in an encampment to somewhere where they have some stability, some support, and some structure. We're able to get them document ready and hopefully prepare them for housing opportunities as they arise. We have 4 vouchers in hand currently. So what that means is they have the subsidy right now, once a housing opportunity comes up, to be able to utilize that with them. We have a walkthrough today of a property, so I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully that goes great and we're able to get someone housed and really begin this process. So from there, like I said, we have currently 6 people that have been employed throughout this time, and 13 clients that receive regular income. Okay. Many of our clients, we've had multiple clients be able to start accessing their medical and take care of their medical situation, to be able to get healthy enough to hopefully get back into, being able to work and get back into the workforce. So that's been a great success. Along with that, right now, we currently have we have 9 clients that have applied for emergency housing vouchers. There are some changes that are going on with that. And Jeff might actually have some more, feedback, on that, and, some changes that have been made. Not the best, from our standpoint, but like I said, we make the best of whatever we can for our clients. So yesterday I did go stop by individually, one by one, to all the doors, notifying our clients of the, the closure and the changes and the options that are going to be coming available. Obviously, some of them, it's a little scary just going through the process, going through the change and understanding all the efforts and work and everything that they've, put in the, the past months, with the possibility of them thinking, they might have to go back to the street. So we're working on, all different realms. Main priority is getting them housed, of course. Other options is just, collaborating with other agencies in the community, whether it's a Salvation Army, whether it's PATH, whether it's the rescue mission, just, exhausting every resources available in order to do that. Now, I have gotten back some feedback from the community about some areas of concern. I do want to thank you guys for reaching out to me. That's why my number, I made it available so we can do that. So I have stopped by over there behind Denny's and saw that. I've gotten some pictures of the areas. I've made contact with the police with certain areas. I've also made contact with specific current clients that aren't at the Rose Garden. So I have identified some of the, I guess, our clients, some of the people that are in these areas that are of concern for the community. So we have started to make some progress on that. One thing that will come out of this that you guys, will, appreciate is, it's with everything, there's there's some of the goods and some of the bads, right? So, the concerns are worrying about putting some people from the Rose Garden onto the street if we can't house them. The other part of that, as far as sitting net, we're going to have more time to go do outreach in the community. So, with that, we will be able to help focus on, the Denny's area, on the Big 5 area, and, those areas of concern. Other than that, like I said, the main thing we wanted to share today is the amount of people that we have document ready. And we would like to, just, have every option available. So, anything that, that anyone knows about possible housing and stuff like that, bring it to us, because, many of these clients, I did inspections yesterday as I'm as I'm going through it. And it's just such an amazing thing to see, just the way of living many of them, are currently having. And any of you that stopped by there last week to check out the property and see the areas, and notice the, hopefully the cleanliness and, and some of that, we look forward to keeping it that way once we're not there. But like I said in the last meeting, I would like some, open honesty, especially from the community, when we're not there anymore full time. And I'm truly hoping that, it stays as organized and as clean. Because like I said, being the Santa Barbarian out here for a while, I know how the Rose Garden looked before we got there. I know how it looks now, and I hope it stays the same. And so, I want us to have an open conversation as this continues to help our community.
Thank you so much, Al. Are there any questions about CityNet? But there are 2 things that I did want to highlight and thank the CityNet team for. 29 people document ready. That is a huge feat. That is a lot of work and speaks to the tireless efforts of your case managers, of all of you working with individuals to be ready to get housing. But 29 out of those 39, that is a lot. It's a very high percentage. So very exciting information. And yeah, that's just great work on your end. And to with the Rose Garden closing, that does open up CityNet's capacity to do more outreach, which is fantastic. We'll be able to see you out on foot in the community doing the outreach, which is one of the gifts of CityNet to our community. But if there are any questions for Al about the Rose Garden, about CityNet, the floor is yours. You can put them in the chat or raise your hand and we'll call on you accordingly.
I see a couple as far as the clients that are going to, that'll be leaving the Rose Garden. Right now, we are, like I said, working really closely, with the Salvation Army. The thing about the orange tree, that did, kind of just put everything to the forefront of going through that closure process. So, prepared us for this. So we're, it went pretty smoothly and I'm very thankful for it. We have an amazing team. But right now we don't have a number because, like I said, we're really pushing on the housings because of the fact we have so many document ready. Like I said, literally we just had the connection with the Salvation Army that we just, solidified this past week. So there are going to be opportunities for, I would say, majority, anyone that would like to, out of our clients that are currently there, to be able to not have to, go back to the streets. Between, PATH and all the organizations, they've been working like just hand in hand with us. So I got to just say to the community, we're working amazing together. Our efforts to keep people off the street, especially during these time with the holidays, with the rain, with the cold. There's some amazing efforts going on with all these different agencies in order to collaborate together to make sure we don't have the least amount of people onto the streets. So I don't have a number for you right now, but it should be a minimum. And like I said, to be honest with you, it's more of anyone that isn't, willing to accept some of the services or the options available will probably be the only ones that'll be going back to the street. But like I expressed to them yesterday, anyone that makes that decision, we will continue doing case management with them and searching for housing, especially the ones that are document ready. Now, example of housing and how clients get vouchers. Housing right now is so many different options, which is a beautiful thing. So we've recently housed, 4 of our clients in one house together. So they all had their individual rooms. So that's one form of housing. Obviously, just to, any studio units, 1 unit bedrooms. We have a 2-unit available bedroom that we're working closely with the property management organization to see if we have the right clients that might be able to go there together. So examples of housing right now is really open, really wide. So anywhere from studios to rooms to shared houses. We're exhausting every effort, especially with the clients that have been at these temporary shelters because of the way of transformation and living that they've had. So it's a beautiful thing. As far as vouchers are concerned, like I said, there's been your normal, housing vouchers, your Section 8 vouchers, which is just long-term that you have to apply for when you come up. Usually it's years. They did roll out the emergency housing voucher for a while, but now they actually cut that back. And like I said, Jeff will probably be able to give you some more information on that in that process. I haven't been too much into that conversation because, like I said, I've really been focusing on the day-to-day operations and getting our clients' document ready. So that's usually something Emily, is in those meetings are more about and has more detailed information. So if Jeff can help out on that, after, it would be greatly appreciated if you have any more detailed information on that, Jeff. And the partnership with the Salvation Army. So they have right now, we are, like I said, we do have some beds available right now in their dorm bunk areas available. And we're still figuring out the kinks. Like I said, Jessica, my supervisor, she's actually has all the details on that, and it is something we are preparing for the beginning of the year. So our next meeting, I think, is January 6th. We should have that more details for you as far as the MOU and specific details on what we're going to work with it. But we do have that rapport, that relationship building, and I'm a Sally guy, I can't, went through there. Mark and I go way back. Adam, like I said, I've been around for a while now. So we have great rapport, and we're looking to really build that connection, because that's one thing I've had to, work with our clients is, the Salvation Army is one of the most beautiful sites, very clean, very organized, very structured. And with the, CityNet, like I said, we have a different way of doing things. So being able to collaborate this together and understand that we're here for the same goal is what we're really trying to focus on. So all those things will come together. But let's see here. I don't know if there's any other questions that I see right here. But we will have more details just coming January 6th, just to let you guys know.
Great. Thank you so much for those detailed answers to questions. To Jeff's point in the chat, we'll be able to share some more information about the housing voucher situation. We can make a point to put that on the agenda for January 6th, as well as we'll have Jessica. We'll see if Jessica can share a little bit more in depth about that Salvation Army partnership, what that looks like, because I think it can be this, I think, really interesting and kind of rich partnership to see individuals not back out on the streets, but continue to case manage from indoors through these partnerships that we have available in the city. Great. So we'll be able to follow up on those 2 items on January 6th. I have them in my notes. We'll be sure to cover them when we are back together in the new year. But to keep us moving, maybe even getting us out of here before 11, I did want to turn to the next item on the agenda. That is the point in time count. Barbara mentioned it last meeting, but did want to circle back. Jeff, if you can put the sign up information, it is now live. Now you can register for the point in time count to be able to join us on Wednesday, January 26th, bright and early, from 5:30 a.m. to 8:30 a.m. And this is our chance to get out together, to be in contact with individuals experiencing homelessness. You can sign up if you and a group of your neighbors would like to sign up in a group together. You can pick a team name and enter it in the text field in that registration link. Just put your team name in so that you're all paired up together, and you can select, and you can also select the region that you'd like to be deployed in. If you'd like to do the point in time count in your own neighborhood, you can request that also in the text field. Just share your region, and the organizers of the point in time count will do their best to be able to place you in or around the region that you've requested to be in. But like I said, if you do want to be on a team with some of your neighbors, please do pick a team name, be as creative as you'd like, and put it in the text field. Each of us as SBAC staff members will be deploying through our regional action plan regions. Jeff will be on the waterfront, I'll be on the east side with some of our regional action plan community members doing the count as well alongside you. Again, it's a great opportunity to, 1, meet individuals, gather some demographic information, and be able to enter it into the system, because it's helpful, and it'll be a helpful assessment for service providers and government agencies countywide to be able to know what the landscape is, what this snapshot is at a given point in time. So please do sign up sooner rather than later, so organizers can put you on teams according to where you'd like to be. And if you do have questions or concerns or comments, please do follow up with us through email as well if you have questions about the point in time count or just want some more information. The second thing that I do want to highlight is, again, as you see encampments over these holidays, please do use that encampment link. Please do report individuals that you see in need to be able to receive that response, and we'll be able to report back at the end of January. As you use the encampment link, as you report individuals in need, that data will become more concrete, more accurate, and more tangible. I know that for our other RAP regions, as well as this one, that data is so helpful in knowing what areas are hotspots, what areas need more outreach, what areas need more focus. And the last thing that I'll highlight before kicking it over to Jeff for any other announcements or comments, if he has any, is we will not be meeting together next week. We'll be off for the holidays. So please do take some time to enjoy your family and friends and time away from screens and work if you can. And we'll be back together for this meeting on Thursday, January 6th, but please do reach out through email. I know Al is available, Chris is available, and Jeff and I will be available for through email. But Jeff, is there anything else that you'd add? Or I see John Masuda, you're on the call. If there's anything else that you would add, either as we approach the end of the year, your
Yeah, I just
turn,
want
Jeff.
to, can I just introduce myself to the group, because this is my first meeting in person. I did
my
attend
goodness, wonderful.
some meetings over the phone. My name is John Masuda. I'm the team supervisor for homeless services with the Department of Behavioral Wellness. We have 2 outreach workers that do outreach between Isla Vista to Carpinteria. We're aware of the concerns that are going on Upper State Street, and we're definitely planning on coordinating with SB Act and the partners to do some outreach in the area.
Mhm. Wonderful. Thank you, John. Thank you, John. And thanks for your team too. I know the outreach is much needed and incredibly helpful. So thank you.
Thank you.
I just want to express my thanks as well for everyone. I know not the happiest topic to be talking about every week as far as homelessness, but we know that no one wants to be impacted by it. So we're going to continue to work with everyone here in the new year on Upper State and try to bring results with all of our partners. So I'm very thankful for each one of you being on the calls and for your willingness to work together and report and use time to enter data and all those things. I know those things take time. Kayla and I also will have a couple of interns in the next semester that we can also use to kind of help enter data in different regions if we need to, or use them, have them work in creative ways, just to let you know. So I hope everyone has a happy holiday, and look forward to working together and seeing more people housed and seeing less impacts to your community over time. So thanks, everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, thank you, Jeff. I would reiterate some of the same things. Thank you for taking time out of your day, both to be with us every Thursday, to go on site visits, to share what you're seeing, to send us emails, to let us know, because it is your neighborhood. You know what it looks like, you see it and experience it, and being able to share those impacts with us so that we can coordinate responses with a variety of different agencies. That is so helpful. It is just helpful for us, and helpful for us to be able to see what you see and know what you know. And thank you also for taking time out of your day to enter into those encampment links and to express what you see, so that people can get the services and care and outreach that they need, and that the impacts don't overwhelm your neighborhood. And we are looking forward to continuing to strategically organize outreach and whatever the case may be as we continue into the new year. And even when the Rose Garden project closes down, we will still be meeting together, still talking about impacts on your neighborhood, still coordinating outreach, still coordinating what needs to be done to reduce homelessness and its impacts in the Upper State region. So thank you so much for your time. Enjoy your holidays, enjoy time with family and friends, enjoy time away from Zoom, I hope, and more time just doing things you like and enjoy. As always, please do reach out by email, and we will see you together again on Thursday, January 6th.